Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into tonight's stream. If you're new to the channel, we do talk true crime here daily, so welcome in. And if you're a returning Titan, welcome on back. My name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You could call me either or. But welcome into tonight's live. We are rolling in on what is today? Tuesday. I thought it was Tuesday. I thought it was. All day long. Tuesday, the 27th of February. Tomorrow is my anniversary. Vincent and I. So pretty exciting stuff over here. Pretty exciting. 8 years he's put up with me for 8 years. Can you guys believe that? I can't. And if you have no idea who Vincent is, he's my better half. So, but if you guys don't mind, while we're getting into, getting things rolling, waiting on people to kind of roll in here like a tumbleweed. If you guys don't mind taking a second to hit the like button, if you enjoy the content, and if you appreciate tonight's case coverage, hopefully you'll consider subscribing to the channel. And then when you subscribe to the channel, if you want to be alerted to all content, when you click that bell icon, you'll have to go down and hit all, or you can hit personalized. So you can just get a little or get a lot. You can get whatever you want, That's the beauty of the YouTube. And that's actually the beauty of YouTube. We can't even block people from watching our lives, which I wouldn't, but I just think that's kind of crazy. You can block people on other platforms, not this one, just from the chat. So let's see who's all in here. Let's see what I guess I'd be the cat. What the cat drug in the night. I don't actually have a cat or a dog. Oh, I should show you guys something though before we start the live all the way, because this is hilarious. And I think you guys would appreciate this. I'll drop it to my MacBook. But welcome in. Hey, Cheryl. And I'm sorry to hear about your friend's loss. Oh, your friend's loss. Okay. Open this really quick and we'll see who's all in the chat. Hey, Margot. Hey, Jana Banana. Hey, DM. I was talking to you guys before I came on. I said, hey, but Queen Olive, Ladybug. Get some people in here. Mary Beth. I was say, I know we had someone else in here. Welcome in. Hey, Aries. I have made a decision to significantly step back from my duties as chatters, all due to a recent event, and will instead be listening and chatting in moderation. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Oh, I hope you're doing well, Aries. Oh, I will still be here if anyone needs to talk. Just summon me and I'll answer, but I won't be fully active. Need a break. Well, thank you for at least being around, because I like that. You've been lashing out lately. Oh. I think the lashing out might be, though, I think you're an empathetic person. If you're listening, Aries, I think you're an empathetic person. I was telling Vincent this the other day, and you feel how other people feel. So if I'm in a good mood, you're in a good mood. If I'm in a bad mood, you're in a bad mood. I hope you get what I'm saying. And I think that is what it is. I don't think it's you, and I don't think it's a true crime. Hey, Boone, I really don't think it's you. PKC. But if you need a break, it's always good to take a break. Hey, Juju, I wish I could take a break. This stuff's addicting. Seeing you guys every night, that's addicting. Hey, Joanne. She's excited about that, aren't you? She's smoking my legally medical weed. It's so funny. Oh, only momentarily. Yeah, don't say that, because I'll cry. May the coming days, months bring you personal and professional success. All, I wish you all well and success and peace. I will be in the background. Aries, don't make me cry. I almost cried yesterday when my dentist left, my student dental person. I almost cried. Thank you, Mary Beth. It's a 2-piece outfit, and it is like bubblegum pink or Pepto-Bismol pink. I don't know what it's something. Hey, preschool granny. Hey, Ozzy. Yankee Kyle's in here. We got Crazy. I hope I'm not missing anybody, because I was going kind of fast. Hey, Doodlebug, rolling in like a tumbleweed. Hey, William Wilkinson. I had to say the whole name. Mr. Rosebud. I felt like that was only right. Did I say hi to Yankee Kyle? I did. Lenora. Welcome in, everyone. Well, it's good to see you guys. I'm glad everyone's here. Everyone's here. Check. Thank you, Yankee Kyle. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. So tonight we're going to get into a newer case. But before we do that, my second channel link will be in the chat throughout the live tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in there for you guys. And then I also forgot to do my welcome banner, like my welcoming thing. So I'm just going to grab it really quick. Because I don't think I always have it pinned. It's how I welcome y'all in. Just in case I don't see ya. But if you guys would like to subscribe to my second channel, it's the link that I just put in the chat. It's just going to be a free-for-all over there. We're going to have fun. It's going to be fun. And I think that's all I have to say. That's all. That's my whole shtick. That's all of it. Hey, Tina. How are you doing? Welcome in, everybody. It's going to be a good stream. It's going to be a newer case, new stream. Let me add her here. So I think that a lot of you guys probably know who Laken Riley is by now. I'm a little bit behind on the story because of everything that was going on last week with all the cases we cover. I think this was actually just a couple of days ago I wanted to cover this case. And then we had the affidavits coming out and all that stuff. So we are covering her tonight. Now, I will say this case has gained a lot of momentum over the last few days, I would say. When it first came out, I believe only News Nation was talking about her. I think News Nation was talking and a couple local places, but nothing, nowhere else was. So yeah, we need a new one. I thought we needed a new one. And yeah, Jana Banana, you were making everybody green the other night. I was telling everyone, I was like, if you got a membership, make sure you tell Jana Banana things. I was like, she gifted a lot. And I figured they'd probably be from you. But so you guys haven't heard of this one? Okay. Preschool Granny has. Maybe probably half and half. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of this case, and then put a 2 in the chat if you haven't. And you may have heard of it after I start to go through some of the details with you. So what I'll do is I'll put some pictures up, and I will just kind of give you a small background, because Miss Nancy Grace is going to give us a full background. And then I also have the arrest affidavits that we can go through tonight. So Suze Morris said 1, Linda 1, 1, 2, 1 and 2. Okay. Looks like we're about half. Because you guys know. Evening all listening in, very tired. All positive vibes. Is that your puppy? Positive vibes. That dog is the stinking cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. It looks like that looks like me and Vincent's old puppy. Oh my Lord. I just keep looking at it. Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, I was going to remind me, actually, you know what? We'll do it before we even talk about Laken, because I wanted to show you guys this because I thought it was pretty hilarious today. So before we get into the sad stuff, I'm gonna brace you and make you smile for a minute. And thank you for being a member for 2 months. That's amazing. Thank you, Positive Vibes. Thank you so much. Thank you for using your sticker to show me. So my robot was vacuuming today. I moved the carpet, and then I was sitting in this chair, and right behind me was my cat, and we're just hanging out, and I'm getting ready for the live. And then all of a sudden I turned around again, and my dog is laying there, kind of like last night. I still haven't went back to watch that to figure out what happened, but I'm wondering if something like this happened. So look at these two. We've got the cat under the pillow. I don't know if you can see the cat, but the cat's head, that's the cat. And then you've got the dog trying to take up as least amount of space as she can. I figured this would make you guys smile, because these two don't normally even like each other. I know, where is Ashley? She'll probably come flying in here. Hey, Jesus loves me. But I figured I'd show you guys that cute little picture before we started the live, because, I'm like, the cat is under the pillow. I sent that to Vincent, and he was like, what in the world? I said, I know. I said, I don't know how it happened, but it happened. Oh, man. Well, at least that will make you guys smile. She will too. She's a beautiful girl. So actually, we'll start with this picture here. So a little bit of a background. Tonight, we're going to be covering, it's a new case. This case started, how many minutes? Okay. as an unaliving of a 22-year-old girl. And now it has everyone involved in this case, including politicians like Donald Trump. And you'll understand as we go through the story how he fits into this. You'll understand, completely. So it has, the floodgates are open. I have a feeling that this case is going to cause a lot of changes. And with that, anyway, that's what we need. Thank you guys for saying they're adorable. They're my babies. They're the loves of my lives. So a little bit of background into the case that we're going to be discussing. The body of a 22-year-old woman, Laken Riley here, was found in a wooded area at the University of Georgia in Athens on Thursday, sending shockwaves through Clarke County, a community about 70 miles east of Atlanta. The victim is Laken Riley. I've never heard of that name, Laken. I love that name. She was a nursing student at nearby Augusta University. On Friday, we'll show him here. On Friday, Jose Antonio Ibarra, 26, was charged with her murder. The two didn't know each other. And that's what we've gotten from authorities anyway, that they didn't know each other. It's sad. Shortly after, so this is kind of what happened. Shortly after noon on Thursday, a friend reported to the campus police that Miss Riley was missing after she did not return from a run near the university's intramural fields, the police, university police said. So she went out during daylight on a run, and this guy unalived her. Now, when you hear this case, it's going to sound a lot like Rachel Morin. It really is. Jana, thank you so much for gifting those memberships. Thank you. Look at all those people. Jesus loves me. Got a membership. Joanne, Tracy, Destiny, Melissa. If you're listening, Aries, email me too. I forgot to say I had an idea. Ladybug, best chat, best channel, best chat. Thank you. You've been here 2 months, Ladybug? Feels like you just got here yesterday. That's a long time. 2 months. That's a long time. That really is. That's a long time to be in someone's chat. You must like me. I knew you did. I knew you did. Some of y'all have been putting up with me for over a year. Like, oh my Lord. So Miss Riley, she went out, for a run. She didn't return. And that's when her friends reported her to campus police as missing. At 12:38 p.m., officers found her. They found her body in a patch of forest near a lake. She was unconscious and was not breathing and had visible injuries, the police said. And that's kind of what we was getting for the first week. We knew that she had been, unalived, murdered. Then they got the suspect, and then they figured out that he is an undocumented immigrant. And so that's why Trump is spear caning this whole campaign, because he was here illegally. Yes, Tina, the Rachel Morgan. Well, when I was listening to stuff today and I said, oh my gosh, I didn't put it all together in my head. I was like, because I know that they look alike, that they look similar to me. If they gained a little weight and he grew his hair out, maybe not. I don't know. I don't have very good vision, and we don't have very good photo. I feel like, well, we have the better photos now. But this guy was found this guy that did this is in Georgia. She's beautiful, young girl on a trail running by herself and we'll find, and we have the probable cause affidavit now, and I was reading through it, but in the probable cause affidavit, he attacks her and then he drags her to conceal her body. And so I was like, oh, that sounds like Rachel Morin too. I think so too, Tina. And I don't want to say that because I don't feel like, well, yeah, they're the same nationality, but that's not what Like, I think they look like they could be similar. If the guy gained a little bit of weight, not a lot, and he grew his hair out, because that, that can happen. Oh, you're welcome, Ladybug. Okay, Queen Olive. No one talked to Queen Olive in the chat. Just say something to me and I'll tell you. Let me see here. Okay, let's delete some of this stuff so we can get over here. So what we're going to do is, I figured this is the easiest way. I'm going to do a comparison from the LA case to Rachel Moore, which we already have that. We already have the similarities and the differences. I did that a while back, but I'm going to pop her in with the similarities and the differences. And I know that there's a few more students that have been, maybe not students, I'm sorry, but females that have been unalived on trails. So we'll go from there, He is Lenora. Yeah, he's not documented. He's not documented over here. And that's what's so upsetting, in a way. Because he's going to be allowed at all this. Oopsie. I just put that all the way in. But he's going to be allotted all of the things that, like that she's not going to be able to have. Like, he's going to be able to have his day in court. He's going to be able to have an attorney. He's going to be able to have a speedy trial if he wants. I mean, a public defender. I don't even know how that works. Really, Liz Stewart? Well, someone fudged up. I think he did have a lengthy record, maybe. Did I read that somewhere? I may have. I know he's got a lot of charges now. Best believe that. He is charged with, and we'll go over this too after the Nancy Grace episode, because I think she's caught up until it's like tonight or something, maybe last night. And this just came out today. So he's charged with murder, malice murder, felony murder. So, so he's charged with 2 charges with murder in the second degree, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, obstructing, hindering persons making emergency telephone call, concealing death of another person. Man, got a lot going. So I figured I'll let Nancy do the talking tonight. And because she always gives us an update, a summary update. And I'm just like, man, I feel like I always give them to you twice. So I'll let her do the talking. You did? Oh man, T-Salis. I should tell you when I'm going to play it. I was going to play her the other night, and then I got so sidetracked with everything. And then even tonight, they had an update on Elijah Vu. I want to let you guys know there's no update. They haven't found him. The cops came out and, they did do a press conference, but I didn't get anything from it that we don't already know. Now Elijah's father's sister went on there, Linda Vu, and she talked. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to where, I'm like, I'm going to save it. So what we'll do is we'll play that tomorrow, and we'll play it with the Audrey Cunningham. Her family came out and released a statement. So we'll go over that. Hey, Sergeant George, welcome in. And hey, T-Salis, welcome in. I need to get some pepper spray. I just said that the other day when I was at Target. I was like, why don't I have pepper spray? Okay.
And
act like you didn't hear this, T-Salis.
Beautiful young nursing student has been murdered. Why am I hearing about why did she go jogging?
Okay, I'm going to say that before she even says it, because I bet you she's going to get it to me before I can get it. Because I said this the other day. I was really mad. So when we were doing the Rachel Morin case, remember, and we all said it. I said it, myself included. I said I've always had my headphones in. That's what I said. But people were like, she shouldn't have had her headphones in. She should have been more aware of her surroundings, blah, 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 blah. No, people should just keep their hands to themselves. She's 22. She should have been able to go and walk the trail with her headphones in or headphones out or whatever, and not be attacked by somebody. Just like in the Rachel Morin case. But, I was like, because I said it, I was like, yeah, maybe she shouldn't have had her headphones in. But then I think about it, and I wear my headphones everywhere, guys, everywhere. My head is down, headphones in. I mean, a girl walked up to me that I worked with, and she was like right in front of me saying my name. I didn't see her for like a good few seconds. So easy prey over here, I guess.
Why does she go jogging alone? On and on and on. Can we talk about the illegal immigrant that
Oh,
murdered
dang,
her,
Nancy brought it up.
that watched her as she jogged at UGA, University of Georgia, and waited for the right
Thank you,
moment
Michael.
to pounce? Can we talk about that? Look, I hate politics. I hate the Republicans, and I hate the Democrats, and I hate the independents. They all lie. But I want answers. I
That sounds
want the
like
truth.
me.
Why was this guy here? Why was he not already behind bars? Why was he not already deported? And can anybody tell me why this happened to Laken? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111. This beautiful nursing student had a horrible, horrible death. Look at Laken. She's absolutely stunning. Her family has supported her, helped her move forward in life, and all she wanted to do was help other people. Why is this girl dead? Why was her body found on a jogging path near a lake in Athens? What are we doing to protect our own citizens, the most vulnerable, women, children, minorities? Are we doing anything? Because it feels like we're not. Let's start with what we know. Take a listen to Chief Jeff Clarke at University of Georgia PD.
On February 22nd, 2024, at approximately 12:07 p.m., the University of Georgia Police Department received a call from an individual concerned for a friend who had gone jogging at the intramural fields. Our officers responded to that area and immediately began a search of the area to attempt to locate the individual. Officers located the individuals in the area behind Lake Herrick at approximately 12:38. The individual was unconscious and not breathing and had visible injuries. Officers immediately began rendering medical aid. Emergency medical responders determined that the individual was deceased upon their arrival.
This poor little girl, there's nothing they could do to save her. When I first heard she was unresponsive, I thought maybe she was just passed out cold. Maybe she was in a coma, but no, she was left there dead. I'm going to find out all the facts about how she was left. You know, I want to point out that normally I get a bad taste in my mouth. My teeth go on edge when I hear campus police are handling a case. Think back to Kristen Smart. Remember that? How badly they ruined the murder investigation. But in this case, I've got to say, it seems to me that the UGA PD did everything right, God willing. But it sounds like they did. You were just hearing Chief Jeff Clarke as he addresses the discovery of this young girl's body. With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. Before I go to Jason Dennis, main anchor WTVM on the case from the beginning, I want to go to a longtime friend and colleague who I immediately thought of when I heard about Laken Riley, the nursing student. It's Phil Vitrano. We all lived through, on the outside looking in, when Karina Vitrano, his beautiful young daughter, was out jogging. He always jogged with her like my dad did. That one day he had a back ailment that he just couldn't go. And when she didn't call him and he didn't hear from her, he knew something was wrong. He knew it was just a sixth sense. Phil Vitrano, thank you for being with us. You know, Phil Vitrano, by the way, was hauled out of his daughter's funeral as they were about to have the funeral to get his DNA taken. Did he complain? No. Did he endure abuse online, in the media, speculation? Yes. He withstood it all until Karina's killer was convicted. Phil, when you see another story, when you heard about Laken Riley, do you feel like nothing is being done?
Nancy, when I first heard the story, to quote Yogi Berra, it was like deja vu all over again. I mean, we had Vanessa Marcotte, and then we had Molly Tibbetts, and now we have Lincoln. And the situation, the circumstances are so similar. I mean, the perpetrator was not a non-U.S. citizen, had no care about human life, just dumped the bodies. And yeah, I mean, when I first heard this, I went right back to 7 years ago, which was not a good place.
Not a good place at all. Guys, Phil Vitrano is weighing in. Phil, please jump in whenever a thought occurs to you, because you have lived through this same exact scenario. Let me go straight out to Jason Dennis now for the very latest in what we know happened. I'm very curious. First of all, Jason Dennis, take a listen to Rachel Bonilla, Crime Online.
Riley sets out on a morning run. She grabs her phone, telling her roommate that she'll be back after a half run at the UGA campus intramural fields. When Riley doesn't return for hours, her roommate calls campus police 911 at 12:07 p.m.
Jason Dennis, again, thank you for being with us. I want to talk about not so much leading up.
Did she say her roommate called at 12:07? Okay, so 12:07 and they found her 11:38. Wow, they knew. I mean, like, she did tell them where she was going to be, but that's pretty quick.
To the discovery of her body. I want to talk about the evidence. I want to talk about how she was found, who found her, the condition of her body. Hit it.
She was found right next to a lake, next to the intramural fields. And my son is a sophomore at the University of Georgia. He actually parks there at the intramural fields. And so around this lake is a pretty normal place for students, for people in the community of Athens, Georgia, to run around. And this was on a
And that's
Thursday
another
morning,
thing.
right?
I was going to say that it's similar to Rachel Morin. Sorry that I interrupted, but it's both in a high traffic area. You know, this is a trail, nice day. People are usually out. I mean, look at the guy right there on the boat.
In the middle of the week,
Just hanging out on the
nice
boat.
weather there at Lake Herrick, and as the UGA police chief was talking about, and he says he called this a crime of opportunity. So she went there running, we assume by herself, and he apparently, Mr. Ibarra, 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra, the suspect here, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. He lives in an apartment complex that's literally right next to this lake. That area where she was killed, where she was found, is right behind his apartment complex. So essentially a 5-minute walk for him to that area. So as UGA police called it, a crime of opportunity. He's still behind bars, no bond, long list of charges like malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping. And she was found there, like you said, like we heard before, unresponsive and dead on the scene. So she was left dead there. Blunt force trauma is the cause of death we know so far. So we're not sure if there was any kind of sexual assault or rape involved. That's not one of the charges right now. But we do know that, he's accused of killing her in a brutal way and leaving her there dead to be found around lunchtime last Thursday. And students have not been, they canceled classes on Friday at the University of Georgia, one of the top schools in the entire nation. and the students just returning to class today on this Monday. So as my son and others have said, it's very somber, very sad vibe on campus. This is the first murder actually on UGA's campus in 30 years, according to the staff there at the school.
Yeah, Jason Dennis, that campus PD, they're on you like a cheap suit. We have a family friend whose son attended UGA, graduated with honors, a musician, the works, then got a job connected to Homeland Security. He was a musician walking down Music Row there in Athens, and somebody threw an ID over a fence at a bar. He picked up the ID. He walked to the front of the entrance and went, "This just came over the fence." And the cops got him for using a fake ID. He went, "I'm not using the fake ID. It just came." Long story short, they're watching you like crazy. And I firmly believe this is very well the first homicide in at least 30 years. Joining me right now, Cheryl McCollum, a director of the Cold Case Research Institute and star of Zone 7 hit podcast. Cheryl, I've been to UGA. I've seen the running path. A lot of young ladies run that path all the time. And I can't believe, Cheryl, that everybody's screaming about why was she jogging by herself? What was she wearing? Was she wearing shorts? Was she wearing a jogging bra? Why was she alone? Why did she pick that time of the day? It's obscene. Why aren't we talking about this guy who came into the country illegally? Number one, he was detained at, I believe it's El Paso, coming across the border. They let him go. Then he was arrested in New York. They let him go. And here he comes to UGA to collide with Laken. Before I get on that, tell me what you observed about the scene. I want to see if I agree with you.
Wonder what took him to Georgia from New York.
Okay. When
That's
you
a long
get right
move.
there at Lake Herrick, there's a multi-level parking deck. So this is a well-used area. You've got intramural fields where the band practices. You've got multiple tennis courts. When we were there Friday and Saturday, there were tons of students playing tennis and pickleball. There were elderly people walking the path. There were people with their dogs. There were people kayaking. This is not a place that is not well traveled by folks on
Okay,
the
stop
campus.
right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Guys, we're showing you pictures that Cheryl actually took for us. She has been on the ground for the last 2 days, combing the area to report back everything she could find. I agree with you completely. Right now, we're showing you where we believe Laken's body was found. Does anybody on the panel know whether Laken was clothed or unclothed or partially clothed? Jump in. Not hearing
I don't know anything at
anything.
all other than she was discovered, with extreme facial injuries from what I was able to determine in my conversations. And of course, the problem here, Nancy, is something that we all need to be aware of. As an instructor for the Bureau, I taught death investigations, and one of the important points here is that individuals, when they are in areas that are protected, like this area is supposed to be, that area is supposed to be watched. It's supposed to be well traveled, but apparently it wasn't at the time. And we know these serial offenders or these offenders, like the individual who's charged here, frequently target areas of people. And my largest question is, how in the world did they come from New York? How are they living when they're not working in this apartment that's only 5 minutes away from this school? And they were in that area. He has seen that individual, if not that individual, other young ladies jogging by themselves. And they're certainly encouraged to do that. It's a health issue. It's a mental issue with running. And so it's unfortunate that we can't protect women wherever they are. But we know this: women have a right to be frightened of certain men. And that's exactly what's happened here.
You're hearing Dale Carson joining us, high-profile lawyer out of Jacksonville. He also, and more importantly, former FBI agent and former beat cop in Miami-Dade. Never a lack of business there. Dale, you're absolutely right. Cheryl McCollum, I want to get back to the location. I like that you pointed out how well used this area is. In other words, populated. Cheryl, I'm a runner, and there have been many times, and I've talked about it. Well, I will be running, no earbuds in. Phil Vitrano taught us that because Karina had in earbuds, didn't hear what was sneaking up behind her, but no earbuds. But when you're running, you're in a groove and you're not necessarily looking around you. But every once in a while, I get a feeling like, hey, I've gone too far. I need to turn around and get back. I don't even know where I am right now. And that's what happens. But this girl, Laken, had a route. She had a particular route. And we're hearing that the defendant, may he rot in hell, only lived a few minutes away. He knew this trail. He watched it like a predator, like a hyena at the water, watching the gazelles approach. And he waited for just the right one at the right time, and he pounced. And I guarantee you, technical legal term, that he did or tried to sex assault this young girl. He didn't just jump on her for what? To steal her tennis shoes? No. This guy, I guarantee you, attacked her. And he needs to go straight to the Georgia death penalty as a pit stop to hell. She did everything right, Cheryl. They had band practice there, pickleball, tennis. It's a very well-used jogging path, Cheryl. What else did you see?
Well, the most important thing to me is the route is very clear. Where you start at the parking deck, you run this whole route, you come right back to it. She was a cross-country runner in high school. She was not unfamiliar with this terrain. So down by where Lake Herrick is where it's very populated, a whole bunch of folks. Once you get to the top of the route, coming back down, that's the part through the woods.
He had to have snuck up on her then, because if she was able to run away, she probably would have been able to outrun him 100%.
That's where he was waiting on her. So again, instead of asking why was she there, why was he there? Why was he allowed to stalk and attack and murder and then walk back home? And Nancy, from the back of his apartment complex, so if you go to Milledgeville Avenue, it backs right up to this path that leads you to railroad tracks. Right over that is the path that he took to grab her, assault her, and murder her. And as the
And
crow
Cheryl,
flies,
it's not fenced off, is it?
no, sorry, there's no fence. It's wide open, and there's multiple apartment complexes that can lead down to this lovely area. And I am telling you, I saw people in their 80s walking. I saw people from the community there. I saw students there. It is a beautiful place. But again, from his back door, as the crow flies, it wasn't 5 minutes.
Guys,
Is there any visual connection?
Yes, he can see from his apartment into the area. He's just a few moments where he lives, I believe, with his brother, who is now behind bars on other charges, has had at least 3 arrests that we know of. I mean, these two enter our country illegally. They live off the taxpayers. They have an arrest. The brother, multiple arrests. This guy, 1 arrest. They're still here, and he murders our Laken, our girl, a Dean's List student. Look at her. Look at her. There she is, all dressed up to be a nurse, wearing the little white jacket. She can't wait to take care of other people. That's over. She was brutally beaten. Joe Scott Morgan, what can you tell me about her mode of death? Guys, Joseph Scott Morgan is with us, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University. And I've got to tell you, I've done several recreations there myself. It's an incredible program. He's the author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon and a star of a hit podcast, Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, tell me about this little girl's mode of death. Just 22 years old, Dean's List, her family devastated. And then I've got this sack of crap behind bars who came in our country illegally and murdered this girl. How did he kill her, according to police?
Yeah, according to the police, what they're saying is that she sustained multiple blunt force trauma, and that can mean any number of things. We think about someone picking up a blunt object like a bat or, a rock or that sort of thing and attacking someone. However, the deeper you dive into this, you begin to think about. Remember, he talked about a case of opportunity, and there's several ways to kind of skin that cat, if you will. So a case of opportunity. If he is there, he doesn't have a weapon. Potentially, he has
So he used a
beaten her to
rock.
death with his hands, or he could have stepped on her. So that's going to be very important from a physical
Well,
evidence standpoint.
but wait. He didn't just step on her. If his feet were the murder weapons, he
Mhm.
had to kick her brutally. You know, when we heard the chief of police at UGA say it was crime of opportunity, that tells
Yeah,
me he came down just waiting, like I said, a hyena, a
yeah,
predator, without a weapon. Opportunity. That
yeah,
tells me he used, like Bundy used, a club, a piece of wood, a rock, his fists, his feet. And I believe, Joe Scott, she fought like hell. And
yeah.
therefore, he murdered her.
Yeah, and one other thing, Nancy, it's very important. We have to examine this word opportunity. I wonder, from a physical evidence standpoint, this is kind of fascinating, something to explore. Did he have a hide set up? That is an observable point where he could see people coming and going. He had picked out the location. And is there physical tiebacks to that location? Let's think about footprints, rather.
Oh,
Let's
like
think about
Koberger.
also cigarette butts. Anything that is left behind that ties back specifically to him, that shows him in some kind of perch there waiting, where he's kind of receded back into the woods. And look, you jog, you know that you can't see everybody to your left and your right, but he can see them. He has an advantage. Who expects to be attacked as they're jogging?
I totally
It
believe.
reminds.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
Is this Jason? Jump in. Go ahead.
It's
Oh, it's
Phil
Phil. Go ahead.
I totally believe he staked out the area, as in with Karina. And with Karina, she was found at a bottom of a U. So he could see people coming from the left and he could see people coming from the right. And I believe with Lincoln's murder, he had been following her or watching her. And he planned this out and he just waited for her to come by. And he was most likely hiding somewhere in the wooded area. And I believe, this is what I believe, that he did have the idea of sexually molesting her, because what other reason would he have just to kill her? Just to kill her, like you said, for her sneakers? No. So we don't know if she was molested or not, but we will find out.
Phil Vitrano joining me is
Nancy,
the father of Karina Vitrano. Phil, got a question. When Karina was murdered, did the perp use an object or his fists?
He first hit her with an available object, a rock. He hit her in the back of the head with a rock. And then he used his hands.
And, Phil, I don't like talking about the details of Karina's murder, but if it can help in any way shed light on this, I'll do it. And I want to thank you again for being with us and putting it out there what Karina lived through and what you lived through. Karina was beaten so badly, her teeth were knocked out of her mouth. She was brutally beaten. And in this case, when I look at Laken and I think about her jogging and her worried about classes and making all of her A pluses and her family just so proud of her getting into nursing school and her whole future laid out, I want to put my hands around this guy's neck and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And when you mentioned those girls,
Nancy needs
Phil
a
Vitrano,
vacation.
you said Vanessa Marcotte, you said Molly Tibbetts, and now Laken Riley, and of course, Karina Vitrano. I mean, to you, Jason Dennis from WTVM, who's been on the story from the beginning. When I think of my little girl, Lucy, and the possibility, she's just not even just a couple of years younger than Laken. Who wants their daughter in this list? Nobody. When we say Karina Vetrano, Vanessa Marcotte, Molly Tibbetts, now Laken. What more can you tell us? What connected this sack of crap to the murder?
Well, and first of all, Nancy, I can tell you that as my son, like as I mentioned, he's 19 years old. He's a student at UGA, one of about 35,000 students. So this is a large school. You know it well, and this in this area right there. I saw an interview with a former roommate of Laken Riley. She was infuriated that how could something like this happen? She says, there's no excuses for like, okay, she was running or was she by herself? What was she wearing? She said that this area is run often by all kinds of people, all kinds of parts of the day. My son is a runner as well. And I mean, he literally parks at the intramural fields right next to that area. It's very heavily traveled, especially on a weekday morning. So, he was, allegedly lying in wait. And, along with being arrested by ICE, through El Paso back in 2022. And then he was arrested 5 months ago for what they called acting in a manner to injure a child under the age of 17. That was in New York City 5 months ago. And he was released because they couldn't have a detainer on him. So released because essentially they did not have room for him or couldn't keep him behind bars. And you mentioned earlier, his brother, Diego Ibarra, he was also arrested in Georgia. He had actually accused of using a fake green card to get a temporary job with food services at the University of Georgia, did not provide further documentation. So he was fired from that job, never officially paid by the University of Georgia. So you have these two brothers that are living there in Athens in that area, and both, allegedly illegal immigrants. And there's no kind of nobody looking out for what they're doing, why they're doing it. And, and as Cheryl mentioned earlier, and she maybe can speak to this, but according to reports, there's no visible security cameras or really good lighting in that area around the lake. But the University of Georgia did release a statement recently, and in a letter to parents, actually,
But they say they're putting them
disturbing
in.
incident, that they said just last Wednesday or Thursday, like right before this murder happened, they approved some enhanced lighting improvements. I'm not sure if it's for this specific area, but for around campus. And this brings to light, the need for those.
They don't need lighting. They need cameras, sir. And enhanced light. We were getting ready to bring in enhanced lighting. This happened during the day. What do you mean? We don't need any light. We need cameras. We need cameras. If people are going to put in a trail somewhere for other people to walk on, like the city, they're going to do that for invest in the cameras, because if not, something like this is going to happen, and then nobody's going to want to walk on the trail, and then you're going to have to put cameras on the trail anyway, and people aren't going to want to go on it. I mean, it's as easy as that. Put a few cameras. Hell, put some fake ones up. At least it would deter people, maybe deter people, but do something. I don't know. Have somebody, campus police or something, go down that area every 15 minutes. Every 30 minutes. And each time it's a different time, so that people don't know, I got 30 minutes, But yeah, they need it before you guys put the trails in. Come on, guys, put the cameras in, because you're going to be doing all the work anyway. You're putting all the money in. Might as well just do it right.
Can I just point out that the entire UGA campus is 41,539 acres. Repeat, 41,539 acres spread out over multiple counties. Yes, I wish they had surveillance video there. But this guy is the killer. And I want to know, Cheryl McCollum, what do we know that's going to connect him? Do you know, Dale? Jump in.
Nancy, look, there's a broader problem that we're all missing here. When people come into this country illegally, the ability of us to vet them out and find out what their personal history is with Venezuela is non-existent. these individuals could be serial predators in Venezuela and coming here for
I don't know what's going
the
on with his
rest of the
camera.
herd, as you've mentioned, with an excellent description of the hyenas and the gazelles. I mean, we can't let people just wander into the country. When we used to do background investigations, we had the authority of the FBI to look at the other countries' criminal records. We don't have that with Venezuela.
Speaking of him having left Venezuela, how do I know he wasn't leaving crime allegations there? I do know this. He is married with a 5-year-old child, Cheryl McCollum. Cheryl, I'm trying to figure out what is connecting him. Obviously, he's not that smart. So did he have bloody clothing? Does somebody place him there? What do you know?
There's two heroes in this thing, Nancy. First, the roommate. That cut his time down from able to, hide and cover up and get away with this thing. So the roommate is the first person that alerted us so quickly so that they could get on his trail. The second thing is, I absolutely believe he discarded something in a dumpster. From the back of his apartment complex, how you access the path.
There's an update at the on this case too. Not like huge update, but there's an update. So I'll let you guys know after this as well.
Is where their dumpsters are. I believe a second person notified law enforcement that they saw him discard something. If you look at the photographs that have been released, you see GBI agents searching certain dumpsters. We were able to talk to some business owners there that confirmed without a doubt they were searching for clothing.
Wow.
Nancy.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Yeah, hold on, Joe Scott. Walk through this with me, Joe Scott and Cheryl McCollum. Searching for clothing. Her clothing, which means she was sex attacked, which means we may be able to get DNA from him, or his clothing, which is likely if he used a rock, which is what we're guessing, or if he bludgeoned her with fists, he will have blood on him. So looking for clothing. What? Go ahead.
I believe it was his clothing. He was trying to get rid of something that he wore.
So then DNA. Go ahead, Joe Scott, jump in.
Yeah, one point here, in addition to that, if he's getting rid of his clothing, there's something he cannot get rid of. They caught him pretty quickly, Nancy. And because this is such a frenetic event, and I can almost guarantee you she fought back. All right, he's going to have evidence on him in the form of trauma that could have been sustained as her defending herself, scratches, that sort of thing. But also one other thing, on his knuckles and on the surfaces, both aspects of his hands, he might have bruises and abrasions there where he is attacking her, and you can't get past that. He can't explain that away. With that, you can have transfer. If he's broken his skin in any way, you can have transfer of his DNA to her remains there at the scene.
Okay, I'm trying to take in what you're saying, but you got me drinking from a fire hydrant. Could you say that again in regular people talk? Okay, dummy down for me. What?
Yeah. So if he has injuries to his hand, Nancy, just think about any kind of abrasion or bruise, laceration. If he is bleeding from that area, he can transfer that to her remains. They would have had to have gone over her remains, unfortunately, very, very carefully at the ME's office to examine her for any foreign DNA. They would have done swabs on her, specifically looking for that. Any kind of hair transfer as well that came off of him transferred onto her. I don't think he would have had sufficient amount of time to prepare her body and to eradicate any other DNA from her. He's trying to just
prepare body. You mean like Nicole Lovell's body? The little girl was thrown on the side of the road, and someone had stripped her naked and wiped her down with alcoholic wet wipes. That's what you mean by prepare the body? Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
He didn't have time. You're right. Okay, guys, New York, I'm skipping forward to our cut 5. I want you to hear more of what we know about this POC, Jose Ibarra from Venezuela. Take a listen to Dave Mack from Crime Stories. Listen.
Jose Ibarra is from Venezuela and came to the U.S. illegally, arriving in El Paso, Texas, with his wife and her 5-year-old son. Due to overcrowding at the center in Texas, Ibarra, his wife, Laken Franco, and her...
You were right, Cheryl. Yeah, 5-year-old son and his wife. So he's 26. Wow, he had that baby young. I mean, that 21 is not young, to have a baby, but a little younger than I thought. I didn't think that he had any kids. So yeah. So he came here, I guess, with the family. Now, okay. I guess this is what I don't get. If most people that are crossing the border, in my mind, I thought it was because they wanted a better life over here in the United States. But I guess what I don't get is why would you come here and like risk everything to get here? A lot of these people, they give them all of their money, these coyotes, like they risk their lives most of the time to get here. Why would you risk all of that then to go unalive a girl, a 22-year-old college student, when you're married and you've got kids? Like, that's crazy to me. You fought that so hard to get over here. You know what I mean? Like, they literally, I've seen some of that stuff, like where they're like going through the barbed wire fences and, all that. So I don't know. It's just that's what I don't get that
5-year-old
part.
son are all sent by bus to New York City a week after crossing the border. They are given food and lodging, and Ibarra begins posting pictures on social media about
That's how
living
they
the
got
high
to New
life in
York.
New York City. Ibarra is working DoorDash and Uber Eats when he gets arrested for carrying his wife's 5-year-old son without a helmet or protection of any kind on his scooter. Ibarra is let out of jail. He and his wife split up, and Jose Ibarra ends up living in Athens, Georgia with his brother Diego. Their apartment is a 5-minute walk from where the body of Laken Riley is found.
Okay, so he was in New York with the wife. Then he got in trouble. She left him, and then he went to move in with his brother down in Georgia. So that's what got him down there. Okay, I figured it was family, but I didn't know who.
Well, that's the best day's work that his wife ever did, leaving him. I mean, you'd want to tell me there weren't red flags.
I bet
before
you.
this. Sure.
Can you imagine? You left him over something completely different than this, and then come to find out he unalives a girl.
McCollum, you were speaking before I went to Dave Mack. Go ahead, jump in. Tell me everything you know.
I just want to really brag on law enforcement, University of Georgia Police, Clark County Police, the
That's
GBI,
true,
the
Squeaky
FBI.
Wheel.
Nancy, there are photographs they've already released where you can see their command center on the 23rd is set up right in front of his front door, basically. Now, if that's not an oh crap moment for this guy, then they take him in for questioning, and then hours later, they make an arrest. So you're talking about from the 22nd to the 23rd. That is how fast they moved on this thing, and that's how unbelievably seamless all of those agencies work together.
Dale Carson, I want to follow up on what Cheryl McCollum just said. Dale Carson, he may lie, but you know what doesn't lie? DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Right. And under the law, you can choose not to speak under your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, but you can't fight a legal search warrant. And search warrants apply to taking your blood, taking your fingerprint,
taking your saliva,
getting your DNA, saliva, the works. They can, police, I've done it, can get a DNA for you to walk, for you to give a voice analysis. So while you don't have to testify against yourself, they can absolutely get his DNA. And don't you know, they're going to go through his apartment he shared with his jailbird brother with a fine-tooth comb to find everything they can. But they can get all that evidence pursuant to a valid search warrant. Yes, no, Dale Carson.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what they've done. They did another interesting thing, which is coming vogue now, which is they take the suspect and put him outside while they do the search. So there's no cross-contamination of anything they might find during the course of the investigation, looking for the very DNA that could be hers or his. And I find it fascinating that they've moved that technique ahead so that they're certain that what they find is connected to the crime and there's no cross-contamination as we see sometimes.
Another issue to you, Cheryl McCollum, where her body is found, it's across a busy road and it's across from a large dorm and a dining hall. We may very well get video surveillance from there. I don't know what, but something. And if he lived in this apartment complex, Cheryl McCollum, we may have him leaving and returning to the apartment complex at exactly the time the medical examiner, that will be you, Joe Scott, could place the time of death. I mean, we are tightening the noose by the minute, Cheryl.
No question. And Nancy, when we were there Friday and Saturday, lots of folks were out washing cars, playing with children on their deck of the apartment. So again, the idea that he was not seen is almost zeal to me. It's not going to happen. But I want to talk about that apartment for a minute with his brother having, counterfeit documents. I know what it took to get both of my children an apartment at an SEC school town, one in Athens and one in Tuscaloosa. And you've got to have proof of all kind of stuff. You've got to have a credit history. You've got to have a criminal history. Sometimes you've got to have somebody that's going to guarantee if you run out on the bill. You've got to have a driver's license or a state ID or a passport or social security card. I don't
I
know
get it.
how these folks are in this apartment. That's something else that it's got to be looked at.
Cheryl,
Well, how when they were
because
40.
they lied. Because they lied. Does that have a ring of truth to it? Back to you, Jason Dennis, anchor WTVM News. Jason, what more can you tell me? Because I expect there are going to be additional charges such as rape, such as some sort of sex attack, which is, of course, an aggravating circumstance under which the local prosecutor can and must seek the death penalty.
Yeah, it's a long list of charges already, and I think that if they are able to, I think they will seek the death penalty to send a message, and whether it be sending a message about we're going to protect our students on this campus, whether it's sending a message about illegal immigration, whether it's sending a message about not letting predators prey on these students or really anyone. I mean, this was a 22-year-old aspiring nursing student who had a full wonderful life of service ahead of her, just snuffed out in an instant because, this suspect, Ibarra, did not know her at all. He was not a student at UGA. He came, like you said, to Athens, Georgia, from New York City after splitting with his wife and his family there. And just to kind of simply put, the UGA police chief said that he woke up with bad intentions that day. And it is so sad that, how can you prevent something like that? You have to kind of vet that ahead of time. And the UGA president, like Cheryl was saying, very relieved that they made a quick arrest. I mean, it wasn't, 24 hours or so when they made this arrest of this man.
Can I talk about the evidence really quickly? Evidence I can deduce from the charges. Malice murder, that means intent. That means he staked her out. He had a perch, like Joe Scott was talking about, much like Brian Koberger, who could go up behind the 4 victims in the Moscow, Idaho sleighs and watch them. You can see directly into their apartment in that home. Malice murder, he planned it. Felony murder means a death occurred during the commission of another felony. That being what? Is it going to be rape? Is it going to be a sex assault? We have an aggravated battery, which means not only do you hurt the person, you deprive them of a limb or a body part, like an eye, like their hearing, like they lose their leg. What
Like
part
making a
of her
911
body
call.
did she lose? How was she attacked? Aggravated assault, which means you put someone in serious fear of immediate bodily harm. False imprisonment and kidnap, that means he moved her. Even 6 inches, 1 inch, will qualify under Georgia law as asportation, which means movement for a kidnap. So I'm learning all this just from the charges. Hindering a 911 call and concealing the death of another. Did he cover her up with leaves or drag her body off the trail? How did he conceal the death of another? And what does this mean, Cheryl McCollum? Hindering a 911 call. Did he throw her phone in the lake? What do we know? What does that mean? I'm deducing.
That means she was actively trying to make a call when he stopped it. He grabbed it, I believe, and possibly threw it away from her. But interference with the 911 call means that call was being placed. And I believe she knew she was in danger. And I also believe she fought like hell.
You know, to Phil Vitrano, it reminds me so much. You brought up the name Molly Tibbetts. Remember, Molly was jogging and she had her phone and she realized this guy, the killer, was going back and forth beside her. And she held up her phone and said, I'm going to call 911. And then she never got to call 911. I wonder if that's what happened here.
Well, we don't know where the phone is. Just like Karina's phone. Karina's phone was found 180 feet from her body, so he discarded the phone. It might be in the lake. Who knows? I mean, are you sure that she had a phone with her? Well, I know most kids do jog with phones today instead of an iPod, but are you assuming that?
Well, I do know that he is charged, Phil, with hindering a 911 call. So, who would that victim be? Guys, if you know anything or think you know anything, did you see her jogging? Did you see him? Look at him. According to police, he is a predator. How do I know that this is his first victim? I don't know that. You think this is his first time and he commits a murder, his first time at the rodeo? I don't know that I believe that. But I do know I want justice. Her family is suffering. The only thing we can do now is seek justice. So if you think you know anything, please dial 706 542 2200. Repeat 706 542 2200. I am not resting till this guy gets the max. Goodbye, friend. Guys, thank you for watching Crime Online with Nancy Grace here on YouTube. To get the very latest, subscribe to Crime Online here.
Hold on one second, guys. Sorry, Nancy. Didn't mean to knock you over. I was trying to grab a drink really quick, and I was running back into the studio, and I hit that Nancy cardboard cutout. And I knocked her on the ground. So hold on one second. Sorry about that. Well, I guess that's a good way for me to break the ice and come back on. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I have the PCA, the probable cause affidavit. We're going to go through that now. And that's going to give us all of the details of this crime and what exactly happened that day. So let's get on to that. Let me stop sharing this. Let me just, sorry, guys, I'm having like the worst trouble right now. My eyelashes bother me. Sorry, guys. Let me get up the documents. So this is going to be the arrest affidavit for Laken, and for her case for Jose Ibarra. He is charged with 8 different counts. Yeah, he's not going to get out for a long time. I don't even know what's going to happen with this case because he is an illegal immigrant. I'm assuming that they're going to just do what they do best, and they're going to arrest, prosecute, detain, and then send back to this country if he ever gets out, which he never would. But not before then. You know, you don't just send them home and say, "Oh, I hope they prosecute him." You know, we do that here. So, but this is from the University of Georgia Police Department. And right here, under the, I meant to have the highlight for you, but the charges that it says here that his birthday is 1/5/1998, 26 years old, Hispanic male, 5'3". He's a short little feller. Wow, Alicia, it's from having that smoke. Good night, Alicia. Sweet dreams. dream of brownies and goodies and food. Venezuela will not take their people back. Yeah, well, wouldn't want to take him back either. So he's 5'3", 170. He's a big boy. Black hair, brown eyes. Like, I mean, he's not tall physically, but he's big, roundedness, I would say. That's 170, 5'3". I don't know. Maybe not. So the first count that he is charged with is malice murder, felony murder, murder in the second degree. The second one is the same, murder in the second degree. The third charge is aggravated battery. Fourth, aggravated assault. Fifth, false imprisonment. Sixth, kidnapping. 7, obstructing and hindering person making emergency telephone call. And number 8, concealing the death of another person. So the documents here we'll go through. It'll pretty much tell us like what the charge is, and why they think, how they got to that charge. So I didn't do it for the first one, but you'll see these ones down here I did it for. We're only going to read this part that's highlighted, but the first document, I'll read all of it to you because every document is the same copy and paste, just the part, the charges, they change. So the part that you guys need to hear and want to hear, that will change, but the other parts don't. So it says here that personally appeared Sergeant Sophie Rabaud, who on oath says that to the best of her knowledge and belief, Jose Antonio Ibarra, between the dates of February 22nd, 2024, between 900 hours and 1300 hours, did commit the felony offense of malice murder in violation, gives the code, the University of Georgia intramural fields, a property owned by the University of Georgia, located at 1110, Lake Herrick Drive, Athens, Georgia, 30605, Clarke County, Georgia, against Laken Hope Riley and the laws of the state of Georgia. Prosecutor further states that the accused, Jose Antonio Ibarra, did unlawfully and with malice and aforethought, either express or implied, cause the death of another human being. And so, under the state warrant for arrest, this just is pretty much them telling them like, hey, if you see him, arrest him and bring him to me. Pretty much. It's like you're hereby commanded to, arrest him if you come across them. Then initial appearance and bail order, they don't have that. But he has no bail. So 0 bail, not a bail, not having one. And then so the second charge is felony murder again. First one was felony murder, right? Or no, malice murder. So they did, like Nancy said, malice murder was the first, and then felony was the second. And then felony, whenever you're charged with felony murder, that is when you are committing an unaliving while in the course of another felony. So like they gave Idaho for instance. He was he burglarized the house by going into a dwelling that he wasn't invited into, so that's burglary, and then he committed the offense of murder. So that was why he got that charge. So felony murder. So it says right here, Jose Antonio Ibarra did commit the offense of murder when, in the commission of a felony, he caused the death of another human being, irrespective of malice. And then these all say the same on there too. So then the next one is charge is kidnapping. Antonio Ibarra did commit the offense of kidnapping when such person abducts or steals away another person without lawful authority and holds such other person against his or her will. So if you move somebody from the place that they are without their permission, it's considered kidnapping. I mean, pretty much point blank period is how I'm taking it. Let me see. Okay, I was just making sure I'm not missing anything through here. This just has like his, date of birth, employment unknown, social security number unknown. It's all redacted. We don't need that though. The next one is going to be for false imprisonment. Now that's holding someone against their will. Jose Antonio Ibarra did commit the offense of false imprisonment when in violation of the personal liberty of another, he detained such person without legal authority. Holding someone against their will. Like, they didn't really let him off on anything, which I'm glad. I'm really, really, really glad. These cops worked fast too. So then this next charge is going to be for the aggravated assault. And then it says Jose Antonio Ibarra did commit the offense of aggravated assault when he assaults with the intent to murder by causing great bodily harm with an object. And so they're, introducing an object. And Nancy did say it could be your hands, feet, things of that nature. But we'll find out later. I think it was a rock, I believe, right? Rock that he hit her with. Or I might be thinking of the other guy's daughter now. I didn't see that in the headlines, Liz. Well, they can have Antarctica, I guess. I mean, no one can even live there. I think you don't live on I forget the percentage. I watch weird shows like that about stuff like that. Jose Antonio Ibarra, this is for the aggravated battery, did commit the offense of aggravated battery when he maliciously causes bodily harm to another by seriously disfiguring her body or a member thereof by disfiguring her skull. So I think we kind of know how she was unalived. The next charge, this one is the saddest one. This one is sad. Hindering a 911 call. Jose Antonio Ibarra did physically prevent or hinder another person with intent to cause physical harm from making or completing a 911 telephone call. Now, I'm wondering if she used her watch to make that phone call. Because if you're trying to get away from somebody, it would be really hard to dial 911 and hit the call. But with me, I hold two buttons in or something. Or maybe it's one button, but I think it's actually one button. Let me see. I don't know which one it is. Wait, I don't want it to make a siren. Okay, but it pulled up. I didn't want the siren to go off, but yeah, I just press a button because I do that a lot when I bend my wrist. So maybe she had on some sort of Apple Watch. But I mean, to think she was calling 911. She was so close. It's just very, very sad. And she's a tiny girl. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So the next is concealing the death of another. So Jose Antonio Ibarra did conceal the death of another person or hinder discovery by dragging the victim to a secluded area. So just like in the Rachel Morton case, the crime happens or it begins to happen, in one spot, and then he moved, just like the guy in Rachel Morton's case, she was moved into the I don't know what they're called. The cylinder type of thing. I don't know what it's called. You know what I mean? On the trail. So I don't know. It's very, very graphic, to say the least. So that's all the charges there. I'm sure we'll hear more as, more information comes out about if there was any sort of, other assaults that took place, which I don't know. I don't know if that was his intent or if he was just wanting to harm somebody, or if maybe that was his intent. And then after he unalived her, he's like, oh wait, maybe people will come, and he wanted to leave. I don't really know. Yeah, she was moving to the tree. So I'm wondering if he just kind of threw her in the tree area just to kind of just get her away, but not really hide her. But still, it's very, it's a very crazy case. Let me see. I want to show you one more video. I forgot. I want to show you one more video. So whenever Michelle McCollum was on there, and she was talking about, she's like, I think he threw something, he discarded something away in the trash. And I was like, oh, I have a video for you guys, because T. Salas said there was a video came out on News Nation, a new one. I think this is the one she was talking about. It was on Balance with Leland tonight. So, let me share the tab with you first. It's got a funny face. So I'm going to play this. And it says on here, neighbor says, our Laken Riley's murder suspect threw bloody clothes in dumpster. So let's watch it. If you guys don't mind just taking a second to hit the like button. If you guys have enjoyed the content so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're here daily.
Absolutely horrific. And there is no other way, sadly enough, to describe the new details we're getting tonight about Laken Riley's final moments. An illegal immigrant allegedly killed the 22-year-old nursing student as she jogged near the University of Georgia campus. We're still waiting for the results of a rape kit. Neighbors of the suspect, Jose Ibarra, say he stalked her on a near daily basis, watching her as she ran by his apartment day after day. We just received the affidavit that lays out the evidence against Ibarra, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. We want to warn you, it is hard to comprehend what he did to this young woman, what he allegedly did, I should say, to this young woman. The documents say Ibarra disfigured Riley's body and skull with a heavy object. He's also accused of trying to stop her from calling 911 during the struggle, which means the struggle went on for a while. Afterwards, the documents say he tried to hide her death by dragging her body to a secluded area. What happened next is even more disturbing, and we're told it's all on videotape. George Will is here on how Riley's case is or is not changing the immigration debate in America. But we begin with News Nation's Alex Capriello, who's got new details from Ibarra's neighbors and joins us live from the apartment complex where he lived. Alex, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Leland. Yeah, the apartment complex is right here behind me, but you'll see I'm standing on the trail. This is where Laken Riley went on her daily run, connecting this to the University of Georgia and a beautiful lake system, a popular trail. But to what you alluded to, I spent my afternoon speaking to his neighbors. He lived here with about 4 or 5 others, I'm told, for the past 5 months. Rather disturbing details about his life here, about the fact that these neighbors would just see him daily outside, sitting outside that studio apartment, watching people go by. And that includes, in their opinion, Laken Riley, who went on daily runs, cutting through the apartment complex to get to this trail. But what I really learned was more information about after the murder occurred. They say that they have video evidence of him taking bloody clothes and other evidence and dumping it in a dumpster right here behind me. Take a look. This is the apartment complex where Jose Ibarra lived, and they shared new details that we had never actually heard before. These neighbors tell me that they actually have security camera footage from their own Ring doorbell cameras that shows Jose Ibarra with bloody clothes and other evidence, taking them to these dumpsters and then ditching all the evidence. These people tell me that they handed over all of that footage to the police to be used as evidence. As for Laken Riley, these neighbors tell me that they often saw her running through this apartment complex, using it as a shortcut to get to this trail.
So I was thinking that. So that's probably where he saw her. And she probably was on a routine. So she probably went at the same time because, you know, after class or in between classes. And he probably wasn't employed because it says employment. We don't know. So
Jose Ibarra, he was somewhat of a quiet loner who sat outside of his studio apartment, which he shared with 4 other
studio. Yeah, they said 4 or 5 people lived in there. Well, that's not legal or anything, but a studio apartment and you had 4 or 5 people living in there. I don't love anybody that much to have 4 or 5 y'all in there.
People at all hours of the day, just watching the world.
Nightbot, stop doing that. What is it doing? Is it doing something to somebody? Oh, Cheryl, it's getting Cheryl again. Dang it, Cheryl. All you did was say no T92. Oh, it's because of the periods in between. Oh, Cheryl got timed out by Nightbot for 5 seconds. Nothing. It's if you do like a period. So she put no Tina I.do.2. So No, you didn't do nothing to Tina. It was when you did for some reason, whenever you do like if it says I dot like do dot two, like if you do it like that, it makes it reads it as like a link. Like you're like you're putting in a link and it says you're on my naughty list. Cheryl, you're always on Nightbot's naughty list. I'm glad it's you though, Cheryl, in a way, because you come back. You're like, what did I do? Nightbot. I need to fix it. I think that's what it is though. Because I'm like, wait a minute, who did this happen to? I just happened to look down. Man, Nightbot, get away from Cheryl. Leave her alone. That's my Cheryl.
Will go by. For that reason, these neighbors
How
believe
rude.
that Ibarra watched her run, knew her route, knew her path, and made his move. Yeah, and I'll tell you, each of the neighbors I spoke to are really nervous and scared about this whole situation. Obviously, a lot of the students here at the University of Georgia are as well. I'm still seeing a lot of people running on campus, and so that's a good sign that people are still resilient. But at the same time, there are several memorials here for Laken Riley. She was a beloved part of this community. As for this apartment complex, I really wanted to dig in. How are 4 to 5 different people that I'm told are undocumented immigrants living in a single studio apartment with 1 bathroom? The apartment complex isn't answering any of my questions right now.
All right, Alex, keep on it. Great reporting on an incredibly difficult and sad story. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to join and
So they're saying that he was dumping clothes in his trash. Now what else? What are you going to hear? I mean, it's all going to come out. The dude doesn't seem like he was very smart. Criminals aren't smart, though. I say that all the time. I always say that. I say that every night. Well, that wasn't smart. And then I'm like, oh, criminals aren't smart. I need to put that on a shirt. Criminals are not smart. They're really not. They're not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got 8 or 10 people in there. Yeah. Wow. So he's he went for his first initial court appearance the other day. There was no bond. It was for a bond hearing. And then they wouldn't even show him on camera. Like I heard a lot of people were like in an uproar about that. They wouldn't show him on the camera. I was going to go through and see if there was anything that we missed since, we've been online or live. It says what? What's this? Oh, wait, never mind. I think this is likely. I thought this was like real news. I try to scroll without you guys like not on the screen that way. That way, I'm not scrolling because there's nothing worse when you have like when you're on a live and somebody's just scrolling up and down and you're watching it and you're going, I don't know if you guys do that, but I do that. And I'm like, stop scrolling. Stop scrolling, please. You're making my eyes hurt. I mean, I think I used to do it at one point too. Let's see. This is all like stuff to do with the more of the political side of it. Yeah, wow. This is very political. And then now Court TV is picking it up. Okay, Court TV is picking it up now. Okay, let's see. Because I think News Nation was the first. I think News Nation was the first one to pick it up because I remember hearing about this, like, it must have been last Friday. Must have been last Friday I heard about it. And did you guys know that we've been covering Elijah's case since the day after he was reported missing? I didn't realize we had been covering it that long. He wasn't on the thumbnail, but we had talked about it on our live that night. And then the next night he was on the thumbnail. That's when we've covered it both nights though. But yeah, I don't see anything out for him either. Let me just double check for him. I don't see anything new for Laken. I love her name. Let's see. Other than the press conference, which didn't give us anything really, but we can go over the press conference tomorrow. We'll go over all the stuff that we know too about the case. Maybe we'll even do that during the day. I don't know. I want to do a day live, but I want to do a members live too. I was exhausted today. Man, I swear I go to one appointment and the next day I'm exhausted. I was going to look for, I think there's some stuff that I think that came out. Audrey's family came out and spoke with that. Actually, their mom spoke with Nancy Grace. Hey, Astro from space. Welcome in. No, Liz, I don't think they can, but she wants it. She's like, I'm going to go down and find it myself. She was ready. I was trying to find the banner so I could stop it from scrolling. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Just do it. It's free. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you. We would love to have you here. Let's see if we just go to, okay, never mind. That's not breaking news. People are behind or something. What did I see today? People are just now talking about Steven going to his arraignment naked. We covered that like, I don't know how long. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but I mean, it seems like a while ago. Let me see. Is this it? No. Trying to see. I don't know if I put it in the title that he was running around naked. I don't think I was. I don't think I did. So I think it was on the 23rd. No, it would have been the 23rd or the 22nd or 23rd. But yeah, I saw people with that today. I was like, oh, we've already talked about that. I've been there, done that. Was she amazing? Good. Okay. Well, I did hear some things too today from a friend about this whole case, and that's been speaking with the mother. And knowing now what I know, I don't feel as hard. I'm not going to be as hard on the mom. We'll just say it like that. But yeah. This shouldn't be political at all. Yeah. It's the common sense thing to do. And you know what else? People should be able to go run if they want to run and not have to worry about someone kidnapping them, hitting them in the head with a rock. And, I mean, I just can't even handle people. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. I'm going to start bringing Squeaky Wheel around with me, though, because you got some common sense, Squeaky Wheel. I like you. What is missing in the national area got Amber Alert? Wow. That's so sad, Doodlebug. They had a man in California in court for murder. He was naked too. Dang. Everybody just wants to, I guess everyone wants to go to court naked. I guess they do. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to do it with you on the phone or do it with you guys on the live. Yeah, he is in court tomorrow. Brian is. Yep. You're right. I have stuff actually for him too to go over with you guys. Nothing big. Just calling my better half to see if he's awake. The dude was awake like 10 minutes ago. Oh, T. Salas, if BK shows up naked, then it's going to be trending. Brian's girl's going to love that. What is old Brian Koberger in there for tomorrow? I forget. It was for the trial date. Let me see. Let me go back to the Idaho page real quick. Scroll all the way down. Because I know that he wanted some dates set. But I thought he was going to give us a decision about something, and we're still waiting on it. Oh, for the change of venue, requesting the scheduling order. The IGG motion to allow certain experts, further experts to look at the IGG information. Go ahead. Oh, yeah, he'll just have his fly down. Oh, gosh, Doodlebug. Yeah, don't look at his fly. Just don't. Oh, honey, Aries was in earlier. Aries says he's going to take a little break, but if we need him, just to holler for him. So if you need him, let me know and I'll holler. But Honey Owler was asking about you, Aries, if you're listening in. Oh, that's fine, Cindy. Every once in a while, you know, people don't feel like chit-chatting. That's fine. I think that the only venue change that they're going to do is change it over to the school. They ain't taking that. They're not taking that money out of Latah County. Nope, not a day. And I will not believe that. That case is going to bring so much money for that little town. I think that they would, it's just, that's what little towns do. But yeah, I don't see anything that's like groundbreaking going on right now. So that's good. What's this? Okay, never mind. That was just something that we already went over. That was Madalena's case. But I'm going to jump off of here. If he's asleep, I'm going to get him. If he's asleep, I may come back on. But there's some lives I want to do, but I was so exhausted today during the day. I was like, oh my Lordy. And I had to get caught up with housework too, because I didn't really do a lot over the weekend, which is not like me at all. And then today, Vincent cleaned the whole house this morning before I woke up. I was like, yeah, Vince is asleep. He's probably asleep. Yeah. He woke up early today and was like he was putting everything like stuff back, you know. We live in a very, very, very tidy home. And so he was like, where does this go? Where does this little thing go? And it was just like little things. And I was like, oh, that goes there, that goes there. It was nice. I was like, is this for like my anniversary present? Oh yeah, tomorrow's my anniversary. I'm going to go wake him up. Yeah, I'm waking him up. He's been putting up with me for 8 years. He'll be fine. I have to wake him up at midnight. I'm just kidding. He's not listening right now, so I can tell you I got him the coolest, cutest things. I'll have to show them to you just in case he is listening in. But I got him some stuff that he needs because he's a man, and you know they need this. They need the underwear and the socks and the stuff like that. But then I got him like some really cute little sayings. They're in something, but there's a saying on the outside, and I thought it was cute. And then I got him an awesome card. Awesome. I think he would just. I wish he would let. Yeah, me too. Just let the trial start. The Doodlebug. He doesn't want to go to prison. That's what I think. At this point, he's like, okay, well, I know I'm guilty. I just don't want to go to prison. So let's stall. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it so much. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you guys are home during the day, be on the lookout for an afternoon live sometime in the afternoon. So maybe I can get on here and actually do that. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Oh, what? My 22nd wedding anniversary. Oh, look at that, Tina. February 12th. We should have thought this out a little bit because Valentine's and then, anniversary and then Valentine's. Yeah. We need to think that out better. Then thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good evening. Bye guys.